Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So we haven't done a new release video in a while. I really got into doing the new release videos kind of at the beginning of the year, and then it just kind of fizzled out, and I'm not really sure why. So we're already well into August, obviously, but I wanted to talk about some specific new releases that are coming out this month because I'm super excited about them. So what I figured we'd do is we would do August and September together, and then we would be all set and back on track for the fall new releases. So hope you guys are excited for this video. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. So like I mentioned, we're already well into August, so I'm not going to do any releases kind of from the beginning of the month, but just this past week on August 16th, J.W. Ocker had his new middle grade book come out. So I still haven't read any middle grade by him. He has had some fantastic releases. I really liked 12 Nights at Rotterhouse, so I wanted to make sure to call out his middle grade books as well. What was the other one? The Smashed Man of Dread End, which I believe came out earlier this year, so he's been pumping out some new releases throughout 2022, and there's one that's coming up, I believe, in September or October as well. So the one that's just out this past week on August the 16th was The Black Slide, and this follows a young boy named Griffin. And he and his best friend Layla discover this black slide on the playground, and so Layla goes down and Griffin follows right along behind her. What they don't know is the black slide is actually kind of like a portal to a different world. So it says here, the black slide is no ordinary piece of playground equipment. What Griffin and Layla find at the other end of this strange portal is a cruel world, populated by bloodthirsty creatures on a quest to become immortal. So that sounds fantastic. I really love J.W. Ocker's writing, and I'm hoping to pick up a couple of more of his books in October. So I'm going to be doing more Halloween and fall themed videos. Some are going to be bookish, some are going to be just regular Halloween videos. So I have noticed that some people put dislikes on my Halloween videos. Never fear, there's going to be lots and lots of book videos. This is primarily a booktube channel, but we love fall and Halloween around here. So J.W. Ocker, I think, is another Halloween lover as well, because he has one out that's already out called The Season with the Witch, which is something that I really want to get to this year. So keep an eye out for my October TBR, where I'm going to be talking about another one of his books as well. But for this one, The Black Slide, this is his middle grade book, and it sounds really fantastic. So on August the 22nd, we are getting Clown in a Cornfield 2 by Adam Cesar, which is another author that I've read, and I obviously read the first book in this series. So the first book was really good. It's a fantastic slasher story. I'm not going to read any kind of synopsis for this one because I don't want to ruin anything from the first book, but Frendo is a murderous clown, and he just starts killing all of the teenagers in town. This is very much reminiscent of those 90s slasher movies, and Adam Cesar did win awards for the first book, so really super excited to see how the gang kind of handles Frendo in the next installment of this book. Now, there was a situation in the first book that I found like it could have been handled a little bit differently. Other people disagreed with me, which is completely okay. I didn't see it coming. So I'm interested to see how that whole dynamic continues as well. No spoilers here, but if you know, you know what I'm talking about. So really super excited for this one. It's highly anticipated in the horror community, and I don't read a whole lot of slasher books. I watch slasher movies, but I don't read a whole lot of slasher books, so super excited for this one. And this next book I only just found out about, which is very strange because you guys know that I'm a huge R.L. Stine fan. So we have a new book out on August the 30th that's called Stine Tingler's all new stories from the master of scary tales, R.L. Stine. So this is an anthology book, much like his, I think like The Haunted Hour or something like that, where it's an anthology of short stories. So really super excited for this. I mean, they're all new. R.L. Stine is such a prolific writer and he's so loved in the community. So super, super excited, obviously, for this one to come out. And this is one that I think I'm definitely going to want to pick up here pretty soon. I have so many books that I want to pick up before the end of the year, but when it comes to R.L. Stine, I'm always going to make room in my TBR to fill him in there. So the last book that I wanted to mention that's coming out in August is Code Red by R. St. Clair, which is coming out on August the 31st. Of course, this is from our very own Regina St. Clair from Regina's Haunted Library. So I've read some of Regina's short stories in the anthologies that come out, the BookTube anthologies, and I also read one of her novellas earlier this year, and I really, really enjoy her style of writing. And Code Red is a little bit different from the other books or the other stories that I've read by her. So this book is about an asylum. It's called Wormwood Asylum, and it says a private mental hospital located in Southwest Virginia specializes in treating adolescent psychosis, including Renfield's syndrome. So Renfield, of course, from Dracula, an obsession with drinking blood. But when a young man is committed to Wormwood because he believes he's a vampire, it turns out he wasn't lying. And soon rapacious revenants are running rampant through the rural mountain community. That was a tongue twister, I'm just going to say that. To fight the blatant bloodsuckers, the local sheriff teams up with a candy striper and her moonshiner grandpa, who just happened to have an arsenal of war-grade weapons stored in his prepper bunker for a bloody country hoedown of epic proportions. So that was a total tongue twister to say, but that sounds so fun. So you've got an asylum, blood-sucking fiends and vampires, and you know, they're just gonna hunt them all down. So that sounds fantastic to me. So definitely check out Code Red by Regina St. Clair. Regina is hoping to put out a novella every month this year, and she's already released some fantastic books. So check out her Amazon store, and there's guaranteed to be something in there that you're gonna like, so check that one out. And then getting into September, so the very first book coming out on September 1st is Mina and the Slayers by Amy McCaw. So this is the follow-up to Mina and the Undead, which of course I read earlier this year, and I know a lot of other booktubers have read it, and everybody loved the story of Mina and her sister and the gang in New Orleans. And again, here I'm not going to read any kind of synopsis because I don't want to give anything away, but this is a fantastic story that takes place in the 90s, and Amy has actually gone ahead and made playlists on Spotify that are all of the songs that are mentioned throughout the stories, and it's just fantastic. This whole world that she's built, I just love it. It's fantastic. Really, really great young adult read, and I'm super excited to get this one. So Amy has already said that she's sending me a copy, and I couldn't be happier. So September 1st, make sure you're watching out for Mina and the Slayers. So next out in September is a brand new Darcy Coates. So September 6th is Gallows Hill. And I've read so many Darcy Coates books, but this one sounds a little bit different, just like her last, I believe the last one that she released was called From Below, and it dealt with something a little bit different than just, you know, your regular haunted house story. So this revolves around a family that owns a winery that's called Gallows Hill, and it's a sprawling estate, and of course you're going to have all of those haunting vibes and all of the atmosphere and everything that go along with this, I think. So the husband and wife enter back into Gallows Hill, and they're found dead the next morning, and it says people whisper that the curse has awakened once more. So I think what's happening here is their daughter went away when she was young, and now she's come back to the estate. So it says here that Margot Hull, it's been a decade since she last saw her childhood home. She was young enough when she was sent away that she barely remembers the dark passageways and secret corners. But now she's returned to bury her parents and reconnect with the winery that is her family's legacy and the bloody truth of exactly what lies buried beneath the crumbling estate. So, I mean, all the Darcy Coates vibes. This is perfect for fall. So again, that's Gallows Hill, and it'll be out on September 6th. And then another author that has been very high up on my list ever since I read Whisper Down the Lane has been Clay McLeod Chapman. And his new book, Ghost Eaters, is going to be coming out on September 20th. And this one, a little bit of a trigger warning for drug use and that sort of thing. But this sounds like a very interesting story about addiction and all of that sort of thing, but very, very sad as well. So very deep story. So it says here, Erin hasn't been able to set a single boundary with her charismatic but reckless college ex-boyfriend Silas. When he asks her to bail him out of rehab again, she knows she needs to cut him off. But days after he gets out, Silas turns up dead of an overdose in their hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and Erin's world falls apart. Then a friend tells her about Ghost, a new drug that allows users to see the dead. Want to get haunted? He asks. Grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, Erin agrees to a pill-popping seance, but the drug has unfathomable side effects, and once you take it, you can never go back. So that sounds fantastic to me. Like I said, sounds like a really heart-wrenching story. It deals with a lot of addiction and loss and grief and all of those things. And I really fell in love with Clay McLeod Chapman's writing, like I said, when I read Whisper Down the Lane, which was my top book that I read last year. So really super excited for this one to come out. And next up on September 20th as well, we have Daphne by Josh Malerman. And this is about a high school student, Kit Lamb. And so this is the last year that she's in high school. The last year she's going to be with her group of friends. The last year she's going to be with her basketball team before she goes off to college. So of course they're celebrating and all of that, and one of her teammates decides to tell the story about Daphne, who was a student in their school, and she died under mysterious circumstances. Some say she was murdered, some say she died by her own hand, but that she is obsessed with revenge, and when you talk about her or you mention her name, she basically comes back. So almost like a Bloody Mary kind of story. So after Kit hears the story about Daphne, her friends one by one start turning up dead. So she goes out on her own to try to figure out what's going on behind the story and see if she can stop the spirit of Daphne from killing her friends. And it says here, now it's a race against time as Kit searches for the truth behind the legend and learns to face her own fears before the summer of her lifetime becomes the last summer of her life. And it says, mixing a nostalgic coming-of-age story and an instantly iconic female villain with an innovative new vision of classic horror. So that sounds fantastic. Sounds, you know, very much along the same lines of Clown in a Cornfield, where people are starting to be picked off one by one. So, you know, very reminiscent of the classic 90s slasher films and books. So super, super excited about that one, and it's September 20th. So back to talking about J.W. Auker. So September 27th, he's actually releasing another book, but this one is a nonfiction. So J.W. Auker does write fiction and nonfiction books. So this one is called The United States of Cryptids, a tour of American myths and monsters. So basically this has to do with everything from the Jersey Devil to Bigfoot and all of those things. There's even a monster in here that's called the Snallygaster. Travel writer and chronicler of the strange J.W. Auker not only uncovers the bizarre stories of these creatures, but investigates the ways in which communities have embraced and celebrated their local cryptids. It's probably everything in there from the Mothman to everything that you've heard. So really super excited about that one. Like I said, J.W. Auker is definitely getting up there on my list of favorite authors, and I love someone that can write about fiction and nonfiction things, but always keeping it spooky. So really, really excited about that one. So again, that one is The United States of Cryptids by J.W. Auker, and it's coming out on September the 27th. So there you guys go. That's everything I wanted to talk to you guys about for now. So we've got some fiction, we've got some nonfiction, a couple by J.W. Auker. There's a couple of really highly anticipated sequels that are coming out. We've got Mina and the Slayers and Clown in a Cornfield too. So I think August and September are going to be fantastic months for new releases, and let's keep these videos going because, you know, I think we've got some great books coming out before the end of 2022. So like I said, that's all I have to talk to you guys about today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.